the reality is with most people is that they will buy from, let's say, in inverted commas, a trusted source. So if you're on Amazon, they'll rather buy on Amazon than buy direct. They'd rather buy off Pets at Home than buy direct. It's not that they don't like your brand or anything. It's just if you just think about how you buy personally, how often do you buy directly from
the brand?
It's minimal.
Yeah.
So by keeping it all in-house, but you've got a pattern and you've got traction, it gives you that ability to make the higher margins. And if you were to dilute that at some point, that would you would lose on that. The only thing I would say though is, how do you find international markets? Because obviously your product is unique, it's disruptive, but when you start talking about selling to, let's say, the US market or selling to the European market, it becomes a bit more problematic.
Europe is tricky at the moment because of the customs charges that each customer obviously has to pay. DHL manage all the shipping internationally, and they are genuinely superb. US is not an issue at all. I mean, because of the product uniqueness, customers in the US are paying it. Last month, the US accounted for about 15% of our revenue. So it's a big market for us at this moment in time, and they're purchasing it from the UK.
And that's without any advertising or marketing apart from
the organic social media stuff. But the DHL managed the international shipments. That there's no custom charges to the US, anything under $800. And because there's no VAT, obviously that 20% covers the cost of the shipping. So it's working well at the moment, but we're aware that change will be needed in the next sort of 6 to 12 months if
January the 20th.
Well, particularly, we don't know what's going to happen with tariffs in the US and the UK, but
I don't think tariffs will be a big problem. This is my wild prediction for the future.
Okay.
Well,
let's have it, Clayton.
Right. Okay. So whether you like or dislike Trump, I think his policy on tariffs revolves around good country, bad country. And I say that from the perspective that if you look at their trade deficit, they've got a massive trade deficit with Mexico, China, and Canada. And those are the markets he wants to
identify.
I literally spoke about this with a good friend of mine the other day, and there's no real trade deficit between the UK and the US.
So I don't think it will affect us, because I don't think he's looking for massive trade surpluses against countries. He's just looking to bridge the gap between the trade deficits. And look, it's that thing where manufacturing, like you said, making it in the UK is more expensive. Making stuff in the US is more expensive than making it in China. And his idea is, I want to bring jobs to America. And so from that perspective, tariffs is the way of bringing manufacturing back to the US. So equalizing trade.
I'm not going to lie and say it's a dream that I would love to be over in the US and have some time over there. And because it's accounting for 15% of our revenue already from the UK, having an operation over there is a dream. Like, I'm not going to beat around the bush, but it's just time, money, but it's within our thinking, isn't it?
It's that, it's planned growth, because we've had good growth, and it's planning it rather than have the thing just suddenly sort of like explode on you, where you can't then back it up with, new premises, new staff, national insurance, dare I say it, come April with employees. And
I'll be honest, I've distributed in the US for years, and I've done it with no staff. So it's not necessary. One thing people don't realize about the US is actually how easy it is to trade in the country. You can use 3PLs. All you have to do is you just register as an LLC in the state where you land your products. I always tell people initial site should always be on the I-95, the sort of Florida to Maine highway, because that's where 60% of the population live. And shipping in the US is a fortune if you cross to the other. So if I'm shipping from Florida to California, it's a fortune. But if I'm going from North Carolina to New York.
That's what some of our customers have said. They've said it's cheaper to ship from the UK to the US than it is from Florida to California, for example.
I feel a consultancy role coming on, Clayton.
I don't, if you ever want, and this is anybody listening, if you ever want my advice on it, I'll do it, and I'll do it for free, because I'm very easygoing with my information. And